Welcome, everybody. My name is Advent, and I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that I go over this class or my future classes is not financial advice, so please do your research before you engage in trading. This is the not the chart and chill session. Almost got caught up with yesterday's class. This is the Trader Circle, December 8th, 2024 class. For those who are new here, what we essentially do here is you can ask me anything you want. This is basically free coaching. So whatever you want to know, you can ask me. There's no judgment at all. We're all here to learn and improve. So, anything goes, whether it's trading related, life related, I got you. Uh, few quick order of businesses, if that's even the term. My English is a little off today. Um, Friendly reminder that starting in January, whoever is not in my group, you want to join the group later on, you will pay a monthly subscription. Whoever gets in prior to January 2025, you'll pay one time and one time only and never again. Cool. With that out of the way. So today, I'm going to structure things a little differently than I usually do. I kind of just take questions the whole way through and then we wrap up and call it a night. I'll probably take questions for like 45 minutes to an hour. And then for like 20, 30 minutes, I want to go over some good practices and really go over what we can do to help ourselves succeed starting next year, starting off on the right leg. So definitely stick around. If you do need to leave, this is being recorded. It's going to be posted up on my YouTube. So with all of that being said, let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Cool. Excellent. So I'm going to go over the questions that people asked in the questionnaire, and then I'll go over questions that you guys just can come off mute or type it in the chat and go from there. All right, let's see. We have Drina doesn't look like you're here, so I'm not going to answer your question. Is Jeff in here? Jeff, are you in here? You wanted to go over charting? Doesn't look like Jeff is in here. Kiz, if you're not in here, it would make sense because you're in Europe and you're probably sleeping right now. But your question will be answered by somebody else's. Alec, is Alec in here? Doesn't look like it from what I see. Jessica doesn't look to be here. Keith doesn't look to be here. Dimitri is definitely not here because he's in Europe. Sarah's in here. There we go. Sarah, you wanted to go over, I kind of just condensed everything that you said. I do appreciate the detail because the more detail you give me, the better, which I definitely appreciate. So you wanted to go over essentially boiling everything down. You wanted to go over what my watch list meant. Let's break it down. For those who don't know, if you're in my group, I post the watch list in the daily watch list. If you're in 100K's group, I post my watch list in the members trade setup. And whatever other group you may know me at, I have my own section or my own channel where I post the watch list. So, for those who are not familiar with the watch list, it pretty much just consists of specific tickers. The four tickers that we have here is futures. So ES, NQ, YM, and RTY, that's futures. So if you're ever trying to look this up to like to just trade it or trade options on it, while you can trade options on it, I think you might need to be approved by whatever broker you use. So these four are always going to be futures. And then these next three is going to be the ETFs of some of the futures that are there. So breaking it down. Oh, one last thing. On Sundays, like Sunday into Monday, I will always post my watch list or my swing trade ideas. After Sunday, so Monday into Tuesday, I'm going to remove the swing trading ideas just because I already gave you guys the levels and we're just waiting for them to break. So you're more than welcome to take notes of the swing trading one and then, because I take it off during the week. So, what does the long above, short below, and I think you have an idea of like what the numbers mean, like the strat wise, but we can go over that as well briefly. So the long above or short below. So long simply just means for those who trade options, that just means to buy calls. And for short below, that just means to buy puts. I just use it as like a general term. When you're bullish, you're long. When you're bearish, you're short, or you have a short bias. So I just keep it simple because I used to put calls above, puts below, but there are some people who only trade equity or shares. So having it this way, it's just universal. Long, buy calls, buy shares, short, sell, puts, whatever you want. Pretty straightforward. Something to note, these levels are only to be taken during the New York trading session. So if you're trading futures and you see these levels break in like London or Asia, I don't take these setups during those times. This is only with New York session. So if these open up as an inside bar and then they trigger, I'm going to take it. If not, I'm not going to touch it, especially if it gaps up or down. Then I just completely just ignore it. Um, on the bottom, for those who don't know what that means, that's just the scenario for the strat. Let me actually bring that up real quick so it can be a little easier for you guys. Give me one sec. Making sense so far, Sarah, before I continue? Cool. All right. So for those who don't know what the numbers under it means, they're just the three scenarios of the strat. So one bar is just an inside bar, meaning it doesn't break the previous high or low. Let's zoom this in a bit. It doesn't break the previous high or low. A two bar is simply a candle that breaks the low or high of the previous candle. And then a three or outside bar or mother bar or engulfing bar, people may know it as, it breaks the low and the high of a candle. A one turns into a two turns into a three. A two down is a candle that breaks the previous low. A two up is a candle that breaks the previous high. And then a three, it could be a three up or a three down, depending which one triggers at the end, right? So if it went two up and then it came down and then broke the low, it'll be a three down and vice versa. So pretty straightforward. An inside bar, as we have here, just means consolidation. Price is kind of just moving in a tight range. It hasn't made a decision where it wants to continue higher or continue lower. Directional bar, pretty straightforward. It's breaking a direction and heading there. And then outside bar, it's expanding the range. So if the range is just in between these levels, it's expanding it to the top and bottom. A broadening formation is basically, or a three candle is a broadening formation on a lower time frame, which hopefully makes sense to some of you. If not, I have a whole video on broadening formations. What does enforce mean? For example, many points, does it mean how many points the stocks have to travel to be enforced? Negative. So what enforce means is, you guys can see my screen, right? My chart. Yes, no, you can see my chart. Can't see my chart. Cool. All right. So an in-force trade or setup simply means, so let's keep it simple for now. A 2-1-2 setup is an in-force move, meaning One in this case, this was a 3-2 down, but it failed, as we can see here. So it was 3-1-2 down in force, meaning if a setup is in force, that means it's just heading straight to the target. It's not pulling back. If this triggers a 3-1-2 down, which is an in force setup, if it pulls back and goes back to entry, it is no longer in force because it pulled back. When it's in force, it's just heading straight to the target, right? As opposed to pulling back and, hitting you back to entry. And in this case, we can see that once it came back to entry, it failed to close as a two down and it ended green. So it was a failed two down. I think you mentioned that question as well, Sarah. So this is a failed two down because it closed above where it was supposed to close red because it was a bearish one. This right here is a failed two up because it broke the high, but it closed red. Are we clear on how the watch list works and what the numbers under the candles mean? Excuse me. Cool. Let's see. David, I see that you're in here. Stopping yourself out. Just to be clear, this is essentially just like, following your rules and your plans and things like that, right? And you can come off mute if you want.
Yeah, correct.
So, like we mentioned before, it's really understanding, like getting out of our own way, and really the biggest thing here, from what you and I have spoke about in the past, the biggest thing is really going to be understanding why you don't do that, right? Like, what is the exact reason on why you aren't doing this? I'll give you an example for myself. So, before, when I would take a loss, I would get upset because it would make me feel like I'm a loser, right? And nobody wants to feel like a loser. Everybody wants to feel like a winner. So if I take a losing trade, or if I'm about to, um, if I'm about to take a loss, but I'm stubborn and I don't want to take it, we need to really dive deep and understand what is the underlying issue. Because whether a trade is a winning trade or a losing trade, it's irrelevant, right? We don't control what the outcome is. And it's only when we input or when we instill what we want in the market is when we get into trouble, right? Like for me, I didn't want to feel like a loser, so I wouldn't take the loss. I will hold it and hope that it comes back in my direction, right? But it's like whatever the market does has nothing to do with you as a person and as an individual. So once I developed what Randy Howell calls, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before, what he calls developing the trader's mind, right? The trader understands that losses are inevitable. Winning is also inevitable if you have a good strategy. But losing is part of the process. We will never escape losing. I wish I was 100%, but that's not the truth, right? I have red days. I have losing trades. It is what it is, right? So it's like doing what we can to uncover what is making the human brain overtake you in those situations. And the book that I recommended to you, the what's it called? Change Your Mind by R.J. Spina. I'll post a link in the chat for those who don't have it, and in the YouTube recording in the description for those watching. But that book is fantastic. There's a exercise that he has his clients do, where he has them get like a little notebook or just a notebook in general, and he has them question every single thing that they do and every single thought that they have. For example, let's say you're about to go outside and you'll be like, let me check myself in the mirror. All right. Why am I checking myself in the mirror? Well, I want to brush my hair. All right. Why am I brushing my hair? Well, I'm brushing my hair because I want to look like I'm kept. All right. Why do you want to look like you're kept? Well, I want to look like I'm kept because I don't want to seem like I'm an unkept or dirty person, right? All right. Why don't you want to seem like that type of person? Because I want people to think I'm X, Y, and Z, or I want people to look at me in X, Y, and Z way, right? So we're going deeper into what the underlying issue is or what the root cause of that process or thought is, right? So bringing it back to what I mentioned, I don't want to take a loss because I don't want to feel like a loser. Well, why do I want to feel like a loser? Because one, it doesn't feel good, first of all, and I want people to think I'm a winner. All right. Well, why do you want that? Well, because, man, I haven't listened in a while for that. I got to think for a bit. Hmm. I stumped myself. I haven't thought about this in a while. I might have to check my notes. I don't want to feel like a loser because I'll feel like a failure. And I've been in situations before when I felt like a failure and didn't think I was worthy of whatever it was. I'm kind of just talking off the cuff now because I don't really remember exactly. But essentially, it's once you overcome that, we're human at the end of the day, right? Like I still struggle with certain things. Like sometimes, even if I lose a trade, I get upset. That's perfectly normal. But this is when the we can think of a fork in the road, right? When I take a loss, I have two choices. I can gladly accept it and flip it into a positive and be like, all right, what can I learn from this trade that I just lost? Or I can choose to take another route and get upset, start revenge trading, hope the trade reverses and goes back in my direction. And we already know where that path is going to go, right? So it's really just getting to the root cause of what the underlying issue is and what a loss means to you. And then once you get clear on that, then you can start navigating, to move past that and working through it, so on and so forth. I'm always a big proponent of therapy because therapy will help a lot, especially when it comes to trading, to uncover things. I don't think your therapist can help you be a better trader, but by getting past some of the mental barriers and blocks that not you specifically, David, but people in general, even myself, therapy is fantastic. If you haven't done it, highly recommend. Um, it'll help you uncover certain parts of yourself to really see it clearer, right? Cool. I react like this because of that. But now that I know that, now I can navigate it better instead of succumbing to it every single time. Hopefully that answered your question, and I'll stop there before I go off on an hour tangent because I can talk about psychology stuff for hours and hours and hours and hours. Was that clear? Any questions on that? Anybody ever experienced that?
Yeah, I mean, it was clear for me. That's pretty much my situation. Is I know when I see when I open a trade and I see it come back to like that break entry when it's time to sell it. I think it's that I hate losing. I really hate it. It puts a lot of pressure on me, and I'm so pissed off that I gotta close the trade. And the book that I'm reading now, Best Loser Wins, the way they describe it, he's saying that I replace that like the anger with hope, and then
Mhm.
I just start hoping that it works out. But I know when it comes back to that break even, I am pissed off. I just do not want to close the trade.
100%. I've been there myself. And it gets easier over time because we essentially have to there's a bad habit that's been built by not closing the trade or not taking the loss. So it's like undoing that bad habit and replacing it with a good one, which of course is closing the trade when you're supposed to, and so on and so forth. So um, some of the books that he mentioned and I mentioned are in the list that I just posted in the chat that you guys can definitely check out if you would like. So, keep on working with it. You and I will keep on talking offline. Let me know when you're done with the book, and then I can recommend you some others. But that one I definitely loved a lot because, um, there's you'll probably get to it later on, but there's a thing that he talks about where it's like there's many different ways to make money, but until you really conquer like yourself and like, the psychology behind things, it's really not gonna matter. Because a lot of us in here trade the strat, right? A lot of people in here probably trade ICT too. But you'll see people who are doing great and some people that are doing poorly. But it's like we're all really taking the same setups for the most part. So it's like, what's the missing component? And usually when I start to look into that, or if people come to me, it's usually the mental aspect, which is always the biggest thing. Cool. All right. Next question. But yeah, we'll keep on talking. Let me know when you finish the book and I'll send you some others to check out.
All right, copy. Thank you.
Of course. Charles, is Charles in here? You mentioned that you're new to trading. If you are, let me know in the chat or you can come off mute. If not, we'll keep it going. Daryl's in here. You wanted to go over entries and exits, charting, and broadening formations.
Yes.
Cool. All right. It looks like Charles is in here, but the name. Gotcha. I'll get to Charles and then I'll get to your question next, Daryl.
All right.
So, how long have you been trading, Charles? Or rather, like, how new are you? Like 0 days? Like this is like day one? What group do you know me from? Divine? Gotcha. I think if you go into my channel, Advent Alerts, in the pinned section, I have like a beginner's guide, but also what you can also do is, let me bring this up. So if you go to my YouTube channel, Cerulean Mind Academy, you can see my beautiful face right here. We're going to go to the playlist section and you're going to go to trainings and walkthrough. Click on the full playlist. And I kind of just have everything lined up in order that I think would be beneficial for you guys. But what I would do in your shoes, if I were in your shoes, go through the beginner's guide. It's about a 2-hour class that I held, I think 2, 3 weeks ago, or 13 days ago to be exact, as we can see here. So after you go through the beginner's guide, it'll kind of give you a good foundation and kind of where to start. From there, go to the psychology of trading and building your trading system. You're going to focus on journaling. I go into extreme detail on what to journal and how I journal. Risk management, I also go into detail on how my risk management guideline is, and you can use it as reference. I kind of break it down with like a conservative trader, moderately aggressive trader, which I would consider myself, and then like aggressive trader. And you kind of get an idea of some levels that you can choose. Um, Basically, this whole section is like creating your system. So if you don't have a proper system, go here and you will do just fine. I had somebody that approached me. I'll keep her anonymous since I'm not sure if she wants people to know this, but she hit me up, I think it was last year, earlier this year. And she's like, hey, I want to thank you for everything you do. I looked over all your YouTube content and I'm trading full time now. Never booked a session with me ever. And just off what I have on YouTube, she went full time. So I don't want to hear no excuses that nobody's performing in the markets because I have everything for free right here for you guys. Of course, if you want to speed up your process and get some more one-on-one help, I'm here for you. You can book a session or get my course that has the session included in it. Anyway, moving on. So beginner's guide, and then check out this section here. I have some setups in the playbook setups. You can check that as well. It'll give you some of the setups that I use that work extremely, extremely well. Cool. Let's get back to some of the questions. Do you have any questions on that? Charles, before I continue and get to Daryl's questions? Cool. All right. Charles, if you do go over the material, I'm gonna have next Sunday. Yeah, so the second Sunday of every month, I have this class, the Trader Circle, which is like my free group coaching. And then for the other groups that I support, I have the Let's Learn with Advent series, which is basically similar to this class, but for other groups that I support. Cool. All right, so Daryl, entries, exits, charting, and broadening formations. What specifically do you mean by charting?
Well, basically, like when you chart, I recently looked at your video of the broadening formations, like off of the three candle and on the longer time frame.
Mhm.
Um, and just basically, um, it's more so like entries and exits, like just trying to be profitable. Um, I've been, trading, or I got introduced to trading in like 2021, and where I was at in 2021, like I've, won like 1,800, on trades and things like that. But broadening formations, order blocks, and things like that, like advanced knowledge, has been very helpful to me.
Sweet. So broadening formations, we'll go over it briefly,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially, I'm going to be looking for three candles. That's just how I was taught. You can draw broadening formations off of two candles if you want. I
Uh-huh.
was just taught by three candles, so that's just what I do.
Yeah, so you will go to the green, to the top wick of the three, and then the bottom of the green, the bottom wick of the green to the bottom of the three,
Yep,
and then
exactly.
go to a shorter time frame. I can't wait to try that tomorrow, man.
Yeah, so essentially, I'll give you an example. One thing to know, if you're going to be drawing this on TradingView, definitely do it on desktop
Mm-hmm.
because you can organize everything. For those who don't know, I'm not, it's a little ironic that I'm going to say this because I like to keep my charts relatively clean, even though with broadening formations, there it's hectic, but more so like visually, I like to keep my charts pretty simple. So my
What
from
button did you click? What Go back to where you was just at, where you trying to get to the organizer?
so on the far right, on the it looks like a diamond and then like a little V under it. That's the object tree. It
Mm-hmm.
brings up all the indicators and all the drawings that you have.
Okay.
This changed my life. Like I wish I knew this like 2 months before I started drawing broadening formations. So once I draw, so this is a year, we're on the yearly time frame. So once I draw this BF, I'm gonna double click on it and I'm just gonna write whatever BF that is. So yearly and yearly, so I can see it on the chart and I can see it over here. And then so that's there. And then we only have one of the three candles. So I'll just do it now since we're here. And then this is the lowest low. If it's like this low, I usually probably won't bother with it, but I'll just do it anyway, just because, why not? It's good practice. So there's my yearly broadening formations done. Now, to make life very, very easy for you, you can make folders with your drawings. So what I can do is I can click on one of my lines. Then on the top left, right over here, there's going to be a little folder that says create a group of drawings. You're going to click that little folder and then you're just going to drag and drop the BFs all in there. And then I'm going to lock it so I don't move them by mistake. And I can just quickly hide them all together. Because I used to go like, when you have like more than 100 BFs, I'm not trying to hide every single one.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you group in your yearly, you group them by the time frame.
Exactly. So looking here on, let me go to the daily time frame. So if your chart looks like this, you're doing your BFs correct.
Okay.
So let's say I don't want to look at the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. I only want to look at quarterly and yearly. I just hide those specific ones. Now I only have yearly and quarterly on the chart. So it makes it really easy to, cycle through each of them.
Okay.
And essentially, with broadening formations, we just want to keep things simple, right? We're essentially just going to be looking for setups, either rejecting off of broadening formations or bouncing off of broadening formations. For example, this is a trade on Friday that I missed, which would have been fantastic, but I was distracted. So as we can see here, once we broke, oh, something to note really quickly. If the broadening formation is up here like this, I will never take a long trigger at a broadening formation, and I will never take a short or like buy puts if the trigger is right at the broadening formation, because you have a chance of getting it bouncing or rejecting off in the opposite direction of what you want. Anyway, so we have here this pretty much it's a bearish TTO and a broadening formation rejection at the same time. So you have two levels of confluence here. So what I would have taken is either the 3 down off of the broadening formation or the 3-2 down, either one. Probably the 3 though, because I'm seeing the rejections that we're getting here. So my short, I would have entered as soon as that 3 broke, or the inside bar broke, whichever one.
Even what you use in the long position, I mean the short position like that, the risk to reward ratio,
Mhm.
that tells you how much you'll profit off of entering a trade.
In a sense, in this case, it's telling me how many points is my stop loss and how much my target is, which is 44 points. Let's assume that my target was only 44 points and my stop is 29 points. This is for YM, which is what I usually trade for futures.
Mhm.
So for those who don't know, for futures, it works a little differently than options.
Yeah,
So,
it's like $5 or something like that.
yep. So one tick equals $5, or whoops, equals 1 point, and in 1 point is equal to $5. Whoops. So here we have 29 points, 29.
29 times five.
Yep, and I'm gonna do math on my phone because so 145, so that'll be a loss of 145. And then take profit is 44 point take profit. So $220. So if I lose the trade, I'm going to lose $145. If it hits my target, I'm going to make $220. And as you can see here, we had a really good, strong move. In 5 minutes, you would have made 220 bucks. Can't beat that. Per contract, by the way. So this is essentially how I would be taking broadening formation trades. I'm really going to be looking for specific candles though. You really want to take the highest probability ones, right? Like if it's just like a regular, like, let me see if I can find another example for you guys. Like this here, this 2 down, 2 up reversal off the broadening formation, even though it was legit, I wouldn't have taken it because it's just not a clean candle pattern for me, right? I want to look for like a 3-1 or a 2-1 or a hammer or a shooter off of broadening formation for me to get in.
Signal.
Exactly. Because again, we want the highest probability setups. I'm not going to waste my time with low probability setups. And if I'm not confident in a trade, I'm not going to bother taking it because one, it's a waste of mental energy if it loses. Now I'm upset because I willingly took a poor trade when I could have just waited for a better one. And you never want to be pressed. For those who don't know what that means, you don't want to have like FOMO or like be so what's the word? So enticed, I guess. I'll use that for now. Can't think of something else. To take a trade just because. I like
Greedy.
say it again.
You don't want to be greedy.
That too, right? Like for like this week, I only took 4 trades and that's it. Yeah, thirsty is another word that you can use too. Um, so I only took 4 trades this week. I took one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and one on Thursday. I don't think I traded Friday. Yeah, I don't think I took a trade Friday. So I only took 4 trades. They all won, 100% win rate because I waited for my absolute best setups. Now, there was other setups that I could have taken, but I wasn't 100% confident in it. And honestly, I don't really care anymore to take a lot of trades. I just want the absolute best ones. I'd rather take 4 solid trades than 10 trades and only 4 of them were good and 6 were bad. So, if 6 were bad and I lost them, I pretty much gave away all my gains from the other trades, assuming the loss was bigger than the take profit, right? So coming back here, right? We have this two continuation. I'm not going to take this continuation to the downside because one, I don't like taking continuations unless it's a Momo hammer or a Momo shooter setup. This over here, I am 100% taking this trade. We have a shooter candle that is printing off a broadening formation, which is a reversal signal, and it's off a broadening formation, and we're bearish for the day for the most part. So to me, this would be a high probability trade. I'm gonna take that every single time, whether it's a hammer, a shooter, all that good stuff.
I, um, I understand what you're saying as far as, taking the trades off of actionable signals, which will make it more, make the probability of the trade more better. Um, One thing that I was struggling with is like looking at longer time frames, like on the weekly, the daily, and then being in that current candle, like with the entry, when I was asking you on the question of entries and exits, when you're looking at the longer time frame, I do understand that it's better because when look, you don't have all that noise on the 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, whatever. But when you taking trades off of, say the weekly, it's about to flip up. Do you let the current candle close and then use that? What I'm trying to say is, okay, like, hold on. All right, so look,
I know exactly what you mean. But
yeah, like that one, the one candle that candle may not have closed and it's actually still going on and it probably could flip up. But I do understand, like, okay, if the say that's the weekly, that's the one right there. All right, the next candle, you'll enter above the one on the high of you'll enter above the one of the previous candle before and you'll make that two that you just marked out the target. But what if that's the current candle and you're trying to get in the trade then? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
yep. So essentially what you're saying is that let's say it's an inside bar, but you want to get in for a long or a short or whatever it is. It's like, should I wait until the one bar closes? Should I get in now? Should I wait? In this case, which I'm happy that Bitcoin has an inside bar, so I can show you an example. The weekly, let me actually highlight this range. So when I go to the lower time frame, we can still see it. So this is the weekly high, and this is the weekly low. Let's go to the daily time frame. So right now for the weekly, if I'm going to take a trade off the weekly, I'm going to wait until the candle breaks this high or this low, or if it closes an inside bar, I'm going to take the next candle if it breaks this inside bar high or low. But if I don't want to wait for the week to break this high or this low, I can go on the daily time frame and look for another setup. So right now, on the weekly time frame, I needed to wait for these levels up here and down here to break. But if I wanted to get in a little earlier, I can
And
hop back
that's
to the daily. Now I can either get a long off this high or this low of the 3 for a long or short.
okay. I understand what you're saying, and that's kind of like how you said the three candle is a broadening formation on a shorter time frame.
Yeah, so let me give you guys an example. Let me just draw this 3 real quick. And this is the daily. Let me go down to the 1 hour. So we can see here, broadening formations are expanding the range, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one I draw off the daily. So we're just kind of bouncing. And right now, price is kind of just in the middle. So it reversed from down here. So it looks like it might be heading back up here. Or if it fails, which looks like it is, it might be heading back down here. We just kind of just have to see what price wants to do. So this is essentially what broadening formations are telling us. If price reverses down here, it's letting us know, hey, price is going to be it's wanting to reverse to head back to the broadening formation up here. And then if it reverses from here, it wants to head back down there, and so on and so forth until it breaks out of this range.
I have this recording.
So
YouTube.
you know, keep on practicing. One thing that I want to always emphasize, if you're not 100% confident in what you're doing, please paper trade, because you don't want to shred a lot of money as you're learning, right? My students, I make them paper trade for a minimum of 1 month until I see that they're consistent, because it doesn't make sense to shred money as you're still learning, right? So, you know, and if you think like, oh, well, I don't want to paper trade now. It's like learn before you earn. Do not rush the process, right? You're so caught up in 1 month of paper trading to get a solid foundation, which doesn't mean anything, right? Let's think big picture. Because if you're so caught up in 1 month, you're thinking too small. What is 1 month of practicing and getting a solid foundation in the next 10 years of your trading career? It's nothing, right? Or 2 months of paper trading until you get it down right. Who cares? You're going to be doing this, I'd imagine, for a really long time. Same thing if you're, I'll give you a college analogy. If I go into college to be a surgeon, I'm not going to start operating in a month, right? I got to finish college, got to get my master's and intern during that whole process. And then when I get the skills, then I can go cut somebody open, right? They're not going to be like, hey, welcome. All right, we're going to have you do brain surgery next month, even though you just started. Very unlikely. So we have to have proper expectations and be patient. You know, I get it. We want the money now. And tell you from experience, that burned me bad by trying to rush the process. So I rather that not happen to you guys.
One thing I would like to say is I do appreciate you for going over the broadening formations and marking the weekly high and the weekly low, and then moving down to a lower time frame, because like what the most recent candle being like a shooter at the weekly low, if I look at those like support and resistance, in which they are, but it's the Strat way. But once it break the weekly low, you can say, okay, I think that it's going to go down, and you can ride it from the weekly low to the broadening formation.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can definitely do that as well. So let's zoom in again. So if we reverse from up here, it pretty much just wants to head to the next BF level, right? Which is going to be down here at 90,771. Granted, with Bitcoin, you never know what might happen. It might spike up $5,000, then dump 10,000 in the same day. So while the strat still applies for futures, I use it more so to swing trade. I don't really day trade crypto because my sleeping schedule gets absolutely destroyed. I did find a success day trading on the 1 hour time frame. I didn't really go anything under the 1 hour personally, but I usually would just swing trade it when I used to trade it more actively. For those who do want to trade it. Anyway, so it's the break of 3 and not the one candle on the daily chart. Well, yeah, Tony, because the one bar right over here, it hasn't closed yet. This is an open candle. We always wait for a trigger, right? Right now, there's no trigger. There's nothing going on. It's kind of just consolidating. We have to wait until price tells us what it wants to do. I can go to the daily time frame over here, where this is just the current weekly low and high, but this is just an open, it's not a closed weekly low or high. This up here and this line down here are the closed weekly low and high. So if price breaks up above this or below that, then the weekly has triggered in a specific direction. Like right now, I'm not going to get into any trade because it's just an inside bar. I need to wait until the 3 breaks the low or the high for me to determine when to go long or short. Cool. All right. Hopefully that answered your question, Daryl.
Yeah, I know you showed it on Bitcoin or whatnot, but like with the stock option, I mean with the stock, I mean that's the same thing because it's price action, but um, yeah, you pretty much answered it. So you wouldn't get into a church like say for instance we were looking at Walmart on a weekly time frame and we had this same scenario. Okay.
Whoops, Walmart. So Walmart, we have, I haven't drawn BFs in so long. I used to use solid lines like 2 years ago. That's how long I haven't seen this. But let's say for the sake of the conversation, I gotta redraw them all. Yes, delete them all. That'll be fun. So let's just say for the sake of the conversation, I'm just gonna draw fake broader information that doesn't exist, but just for the sake of this example. So let's say there's a weekly broader information. I can go to the daily time frame and be like, all right, we're kind of hanging out in between these levels. It kept on bouncing up, two up, two up, two up, two up. And it looks like it wants to head to break this level up here. And we got to see what happens next. Is it going to reverse off there? Is it going to break through it? We kind of just have to see. If it does reverse, you can take that short and see how far down you can ride it, either back to this BF, take the previous lows out, whatever it is that you want.
Okay. That pretty much answered my question. And you just got to wait for the trigger on the current candle. You don't enter. Okay. So, all right. You at Walmart. Okay. So it's a 2-1. That's this. The one didn't close. It's open. You will.
This is
would,
the closed one.
okay. It's a closed one. But I'm saying for the sake of the conversation, if it's open, like you're day trading it and it's open on the weekly and it's not, till 5 or 6 days. Uh, you know what? I keep asking the same question over and over, and you went on you marked it out and then went to a shorter time frame to time your entry.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I love about the strat is that price is fractal, right? So the same setups you'll see on the lower time frames, you'll also see on the higher time frames. But just on the higher time frames, it takes a little longer for them to set up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we go to SPY, and before I say what it is, I'll ask you guys if you know what this is. What pattern is this? This is a strat pattern. What is this?
Higher, high, higher, TTO.
Yep. So we can see on SPY, a TTO formed on the daily time frame. So you could have swung this if you wanted off the daily as a swing trade. I wouldn't do it personally because I don't like to swing indices. I'd rather just swing regular stock because the data's too high on SPY and stuff. So you can literally taking the trade on the 3 up. Went long, have your stop loss down here, and just wait for previous highs to be taken out. And it took about what, 1, 2, 3, 5 days for that TTO to complete and break that high. So same thing for intraday, right? So for me, if I have my 4-hour levels marked out and I miss the initial trigger for the long or short, I just go on the 5 or 15 minute and look for a TTO because if it's going to be a trend day, a TTO is going to appear. I just have to wait for it. Okay. Cool. All right. Hopefully that made sense. John, is John in here? You mentioned order block expansion?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. So I don't really teach ICT, so I can't answer that question. I can answer your other question about time frame setups and triggers for weekly contracts.
Okay.
So generally, when I'm day trading, I'm always using weekly contracts. It doesn't matter what the setup is, whether it's off a 4-hour time frame, a 1 hour, a 5 or 15 minute. I'm using a weekly contract because one, I don't really care about theta if I'm going to be in and out. my trades usually hit in the first, well, as you know, some of you have seen for some of your trades, a trade can hit profit target in like 5 minutes or less. But generally, I'm not in a trade longer than like an hour and a half, right? So looking at this 5 minute as we have here on Tesla, we have a Momo hammer that's set up right here. I would want this candle to be more solid, but I'll accept this for now. So I have the big candle, hammer that prints in the direction. I'm taking that 2 up continuation. My stop loss is going to be under that hammer candle right over here. So I would just get a weekly contract or a contract that expires that same week. And then just as soon as it breaks, I'm getting in that trade.
I see. I see you on Tesla right now. Tesla running in the after hours right now.
But
Tesla up like $10.
I got to definitely look at it for the overnight hours. Definitely a good one. And we're right there to all-time highs. All-time high is 414.50. So
It's going there for sure.
so we'll see what happens when it gets up there.
So let me ask you this. Did you get my question on RNG? I posted that in the Discord because I'm like 2 months in. And I posted that in the Discord because I wanted some feedback. Because I really want to find my own plays instead of the call outs and then checking out what y'all be talking about. Because I look at a lot of y'all U bags, call me 100K Jess. So when y'all call out something, I go look at it. But I've been looking at RNG myself and I kind of posted it. And they was telling me like be cautious about how it was a lot of wicks in a specific spot that I was looking for it to take out. But I just want to know if I'm looking at this right because I see the weekly is up, the monthly is up, the quarterly has a 312. The 4 hour is the only one that's down, but it's like a penny away.
Mhm. Yeah, so looking at this setup, it literally has everything for a bullish setup. You have the higher, like overall, this is a bullish setup. You have your analysis is correct. We're definitely bullish. The 4 hour is bullish as well. It's about, I think it probably broke that high, 40.97. Yeah, so we broke this high over here. Looks like we're heading over to these to take these highs over there. There might be a pullback in this area if there's still a bunch of sellers hanging out there. We just kind of see what price does. Because you can have a day like this week where even though there was big wicks here, they just killed all of those sellers that were hanging out there. So
Yeah.
we have
So my question is like I saw a fair value gap on like let me see, let me look because I got it pulled up too. Let me look at the weekly. I saw a fair value gap somewhere, and I was just like, it looks like he's gonna run to that 43. What can I just play it to that 43?
the 43 will pretty much be this wick over here. So 43.28. Strat wise, these will be your targets.
Yeah, the
41
41 and then
and
43.
then 43. You can really just take that as a swing trade if you want. Generally, the time frame that you're taking it off of, that's how you want to determine your
Time of the contract based on the ATR, right?
the ATR, yes, but also, you want to give your trades time, right? Let me see if I have this to show you guys. Should have it in here. Pay yourself guide. Where the heck did I put this thing? Hold on, give me a sec. I think I put it in the Discord somewhere. Beginner's guide. No, this is paying yourself. Where the heck? Flashcards. There we go. All right. So if it's a 4 hour or daily trigger, I take contracts that are 1 to 2 weeks out. If it's a weekly trigger, I want time, right? Because I have the idea if it's a weekly trigger, it's going to take at least a week or more to pan out. So I want time on my contracts. Like for right now, on the BABA trade that I mentioned, on the
Yeah, I was looking at Bob. Bob was ready to turn around.
so right over here, This is going to be a weekly trigger. So I want time for it to come up and hit all of these targets up here. So I'm going to be looking to get February, which is about 60 days out, give or take. You can, I might consider getting a January. I might get like one or two, but I mainly just want to have time so I'm relaxed and I'm not pressed. Because if it has another 2 weeks of just inside bars, and theta's eating your contract as it does nothing.
Exactly.
So I want
So I
more.
want to know. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like to know like what setups and triggers do we look for those weeklies because I just want it for a week. I really don't want it for 2 weeks.
Well, remember, if you're swing trading, you want time. You don't need to hold the contract until 2 weeks. You can close it the same day if it.
Exactly, for sure.
So, but you just want time just in case. Because if you get
Just in
a BABA expiration that expires this week on Friday, so the first target that I have here is
89.
about $2.50 away. Based on its ATR with 259, that can hit in one day if it just goes straight to target, right? If it doesn't, if it takes 3 days and it's slow grind up, I gave 3 days of theta away because by the time it hits my target, sure, I'm going to be in profit, but not as much because theta ate some of the premium away.
I got you.
So you always want to have time if you're swing trading.
I got you. Yeah, I'm looking at Baba also. I saw you posted that earlier, and I took a look at the chart, and that's the fell two down hammer.
Mhm. So we'll definitely see how it looks like.
So
Back,
you're gonna wait. We're gonna wait till it open up and take that other candle out first, right?
yeah. So as
Test your
soon
entry.
as this next week opens up, as soon as it breaks this high, I'm getting into calls immediately, and then I'm
That's
just
what I'm talking about.
so target like Bags mentioned. I think 100K mentioned it too. I've been
I
waiting for
got.
that up since
I'm
last.
in targets.
So double insights of the week because we have such a big um because we have such a big level here, like strat wise, we would be aiming for this body or this wick, which is ridiculously far away, right? Have this huge fair value gap. So I'm going to be using these fib levels as my target. So the 38, the 50, 61, 70, 786, and then the strat targets as it goes in my direction. Because what I don't want is to be up like 10 points and not take profit because I'm waiting for 20 and then it goes red for me. I'm not doing that.
I've
So,
been having it for 1 foot to go to 140 since last week. It expires this week.
ooh, hopefully, hopefully we get a strong move for you because you might need
Yeah.
further out contracts on that one. So, yeah, we'll definitely see what happens. 2 week cons are way more expensive. Well, yeah, Tony, the further out you go, the more expensive it's going to be because you're paying for time. But if I'm getting it in the week and I only have 5 days for it to hit a weekly target, which is likely, but also unlikely. And if it goes against you, you're going to take a loss, a bigger one that you may have wanted to if you're waiting until the very end of the week to expire. So, just something to note. All right, so I pretty much got over all the questions um, in the questionnaire. For those who are like actually here, you can put questions in the chat. You can come off mute and ask questions. We'll do that for like 15 minutes, and then I want to go over a topic that I think will be beneficial for you guys, and then we'll wrap up. So whatever questions you have, put it in the chat. Come off mute. It's all good.
I got a quick question, Jay. Um, I was using Stump Journal or something like that, where you have to manually enter your trades.
Mhm.
I wanna upgrade because when I realized when I'm manually entering my trades, it's like time consuming, and I don't even feel like journaling after, or my journaling is like kind of lazy because sometimes when I'm manually entering my trades, I might put the wrong date or wrong whatever, then I gotta
Mhm.
correct it. So, what is it that you use, TraderSync or TradeZilla?
I use TraderSync. TradeZilla to me personally, for what I need it for, is too expensive. I think it's like 300-400 bucks a year, something crazy like that. Works. It's good. I've never used it. I've only seen like reviews and like videos on it. It looks really good. Just for what I need, TraderSync is more than enough. I'll put it in the general chat in the group. I can also put this 100Ks group or whatever other group you guys want me to put it in there. They give you a 7-day free trial. Actually, I think off like just being a new member, they might give you the 50 or 65% off. I used a pro plan. This one, I think it's paid like 180 a year, which is nothing. That's what, like 18 bucks, 15 bucks a month.
Mhm.
I pay annually. If you pay like monthly, it's like I think it's like 20 bucks or 25 bucks. So I just pay the one shot. And I totally understand what you mean because I'm lazy too in certain aspects. And because I trade options and futures, I'm not trying to manually input all those trades. Like that's too much time. So all
So
I
the pro is good. I don't need the premium. Pro is good.
say that again.
The pro is good. I don't need the premium.
No, no, yeah, Pro is you'll be good for that. It'll input all your trades. You can use an AI feature if you want to. And what I love about it is that you can input your setups, right? So every time so I pretty much take my trade file in Thinkorswim, you can download it and just literally upload it, and then it just puts all your trades there. Or you can connect Thinkorswim to it, and it automatically pulls your trades. I personally don't sync it automatically. That's just me because I rather not connect my brokerage information or logins to a third party. Again, it's reliable from what I've seen. That's just personal preference. I don't like doing that. I'll take the extra 2 minutes to download the trade log file and upload it manually. And it inputs all the information, when you got in, when you got out, what contract you got, how much you made, how much you lost. And then from there, you can assign a setup. So like when I put a setup, I'll be like, all right, this setup, I may, this was a TTO setup on the 5 minute. So I label it that way at the end of the month when I'm going through all the trades, all I have to do is just bring up the filters to the month of, let's say, December. And then I can also have it bring up my setup. So I can see which setups made me the most money, which ones lost me the most money, and what the win rate was. So I can get a good idea of, the performance of the setup. So I can adjust if need be. So
Okay.
definitely love it. And then it has a little portion where you can just type in your notes because I used to physically write it down. I'm like, this is taking too much of my time. I'm just going to pay, get some more time back. So, and it has a section for you to like put in your images. So I'll take a screenshot of I'll take a screenshot of like the setup and then I'll also put it in there. So when I'm referencing the setup, I can see what it looked like when I'm going back through my journal prompts. So definitely recommend if you guys don't have a trading journal, TraderSync is lovely. I enjoy it. You can, write it down physically, whatever you prefer. But I've been using it for about 3 years now. Cool.
I have another question, Evan.
Yep.
Check this out. So, do you use Thinkorswim, right?
Yeah, I use Thinkorswim and TradingView.
Okay, so on Thinkorswim, the Strat scanner, when you scan for like a 3-1 on the month, like full time frame continuity up or um, whatever workspace was shared, how do you choose the stock that you want to look at from what you see on the scanner?
Great question. So because I've been trading for so long, well, I guess 4 years is a long time for me anyway. Because I've been trading for a while, I just look at the scanner and just look for stocks that I'm comfortable with. Like I'm bringing up Thinkorswim right now so we can look at it together. But there's like a lot of stocks that'll come up that I'm not familiar with, and I won't trade because I'm not familiar with how the contracts move. A lot of
Also, and this is another question. So when you pick a stock, is there a way to already know what the delta going to be? Like I know you can see it on the options chain, but sometimes like I've been in a options contract and the delta was like $400. I was like, shit. Well, if I'm sorry, but basically like if I could get $1 movement, I could get $400.
Mhm.
But um looking at the stock on the options chain, it wasn't 400, but once I got in, it was.
So you mean like the premium that you paid?
No, not the premium that I paid, the delta for the dollar movements of the contracts.
Interesting. You'll have to show me an example because the delta can only ever be maxed out at 1.00. It will never go above that. So if
Oh, okay.
you find an example, send it to me so I can check it out and see exactly what you mean.
Okay.
But yeah, let's say in this case, if I want to look for a 3-1 setup on the week, I'll scan for it and I have all these options here. The only one that I would probably trade on this list is Dell because I haven't traded anything else here and I don't really care to trade anything else here.
But see, okay, like what I'm saying is on this screen right here, when you're looking at Dell, are you looking at the net change, the volume,
I'm not
like
looking at any of that. All I'm looking at is what tickers pop up.
okay,
So now that I see that Dell has a 3-1, then I'll go on the chart and be like, all right, let me check Dell out and let's see what we're working with. So we have a 3-1 set up right now. Maybe based on this big 3 candle on the weekly, I want to
that looked like a TTO too.
Uh, I would agree, just not one that I would prefer because the TTOs that I take never have a 3 candle that reverses.
Oh, okay.
So in this case, I'll probably be looking for a short, and then I'll check the time frame. So the quarterly is inside, the green. Monthly is inside, weekly is inside. So we're gonna be 3-1-2 down, just to get an idea of what's going on. And then I'll be like, all right, let me check the options train. This one looks good. Boom. I will take the trade or like target, right? Or BABA that came up on the double inside week. Let's go back to TOS. Uh, double inside week scan. So target and BABA, I traded those before, so I'm adding that to the list. VST and Nano, never traded any of those. Not gonna add it to the list. I'm skipping that. And then I'll go to the chart, be like, cool, this looks good. It's bouncing off this fair value gap over here, maybe a broader information that I might have drawn to. And, we'll see what the market wants to give once it triggers.
Got you.
So, Desi,
That's a quick entry too.
yeah, I really hope that we don't gap up tomorrow because I want to get in as soon as it breaks. I hate when there's a really good setup and then it gaps up or down. Super annoying. The worst. Yes, Samantha, I'll share my YouTube. I'll put it in the chat as well. But just search up. Let's go to my channel. Just search up Cerulean Mind Academy, and you'll see my logo. You can subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. I'll post it in the chat as well if you just want to directly click on it. Can the scanner that you showed in TOS be done in TradingView? I think somebody made one. I'm not sure where it is. I saw it like 2 years ago. Maybe not as advanced as the Thinkorswim one, but I had my buddy make this one for me. I don't use it that often because you have to manually place in. This is more so when I used to trade like crypto and like more than one stock actively. So basically what he made for me is this down here where whatever is lit up has that specific setup active right now. So Bitcoin on the weekly has a 2-1 setup and it's lit up here. So if I go to Bitcoin on the weekly, 2-1 setup. Now I don't have to scan through every single ticker. I just go over here in the settings of the scanner and I'll just input the tickers that I want. So if I want to have, I don't know, let's say BABA. And let's say I also want to look at coin. Let me just activate those. Okay. And then just wait. Sometimes it takes a bit to load up depending how many tickers you're doing, but he updated it, so it made it a little better. So now I can see that on BABA, there's a shooter on the daily since it's lit up right now. So I'll go to BABA on the daily time frame, and there's a shooter. So pretty much whatever time frame that you go through, it's gonna light up if it has that setup on that time frame. Because I used to go through all the stocks, then all the time frames to see what's there. This just saves a ton of time. I don't use it that much anymore because I don't really trade more than one ticker that much. But for those who do, it might be beneficial for you. Uh, is the TOS script available in your Discord or should be purchased? The TOS script is free. I got it for free. If you go to, I think it's in 100K's group as well. For those who know me in other Discord groups, it should be in the pinned section in my channel. But in my group, if you go to scripts and indicators, I think.
I'm about to share it to the chat.
Sweet. Thank you. So in my group, go to Strat Academy, Strat Scanner, TOS Strat Scanners, and you'll load that into Thinkorswim, and then you can search for whatever it is that you want. Daryl posted another one that somebody made that you can just go to that Google Doc sheet, and it'll also give you setups if you don't use Thinkorswim, which is really helpful. What's the name of the Strat Scanner for television for Trading View? It's the Cerulean Strat Scanner that my friend made for me. If you're in my group, it's free. If you're not, he has it for purchase. I think he sells it for like $50 on Gumroad. Let's see. Let's go to Google real quick. Cerulean Strat Scanner Gumroad. There we go. Yeah, this first one here. Yeah, there's the one. So if you are not in my group, you can purchase it there. Although it's only $35 to get in my group, and you pay one time and you get the scanner for free. So it might be more economic for you. But yeah, my buddy has it up there if you guys want it. But whoever's in my group, just go in here, click on the link, add it to your list, and you're good to go.
I got one more question, if I can ask.
Of course.
When stocks are already at their highs,
Ooh.
how do you decide if it's gonna keep running or is it time to turn around?
Well, let's look at the stock, right? We already know with time continuity, if it's bullish, it's bullish. I'm going bullish, right? I'm
Because
only
I've been looking at Palantir and AI,
at,
PLTR for sure.
oh, I wouldn't be shorting Palantir at all, like at all.
I think it's
Whoever,
gonna hit 100.
whoever's shorting this is getting cooked. Like one, it's like meme status right now, so you just have to wait, right? I will never short something until like to swing trade. I will never short something unless the weekly reverses. That's me personally. Some people like to get in a little earlier based on whatever strategy they use, but I'm more comfortable swinging a short when the weekly reverses. Otherwise, I'm
Weekly.
not gonna be looking for any shorts at all. And if we look at the weekly on Palantir, I don't think it's going to be reversing anytime soon. This thing is a
Yeah,
freaking
got
rocket
a
ship.
long way.
And for people who like to be like, well, it can't go higher, let me show you my favorite it can't go higher stock, which is NVIDIA.
For real. After the split too.
This is pre-split. They had earnings where it went from like $300 to like $600 or something crazy like that. I forgot what it was pre-split. They're like, oh, this gap is going to get filled. This gap has been here since May of 2023. I don't think NVIDIA, unless there's a market crash, will ever fill this gap, ever. So whoever's been holding shorts is getting absolutely decimated. They probably have to sell their house because you're spending too much money on puts when you could just be
Yeah.
riding the wave to the upside, right? And I used to do that. I shredded thousands of dollars. Like the market's going to crash. It can't go any higher. Like, but it's literally saying go long, right? So always pay attention to what the chart is telling you, not what you think or what your feelings tell you, because that's not feelings aren't a strategy.
So it's bullish until it ain't.
Exactly. Like even now, right? Let's look at NVIDIA. I wouldn't have even taken a short until we got the reversal, which we got right here on this 3 down. And then you can either got it in on the 3 down or the 3-2 down, and it hit a target. It hit two targets, it looks like. But now we can reverse back up. I'm not looking to swing any shorts at all. So
Cool. I got it. That's perfect.
cool. All right. So 15 minutes passed for the other questions. Let's go over another topic. So I kind of just want to give you guys, I want to hold you guys to a higher standard for next year and even just moving forward in general. Let me just bring up my notes real quick. Before I get into this, would it be beneficial if I go over my trading system for like 5 minutes with you guys? Yes, no?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Like, let me pull this up. Give me a sec. Where is this? You can use this as a template to make your own. All right, so this is my trading system. I love data and I love efficiency and I love being absolutely detailed and clear. So this is what my trading system looks like. I have to make some adjustments since I've changed some things up, but this is kind of just like an overview of the system. I have other files and more screenshots with more details going into specific parts, but this is just like an overview, right? So like for me, my morning routine that we have over here, this is non-negotiable. I need to do this before I start trading. If I do not do this before I trade, then I cannot trade until I do. If I wake up late, that's on me. Trading. So for you guys, if you're like rushing to the charts, you didn't even brush your teeth or clean the crust out your eye, you might want to be awake before you start getting on the charts because you can make a lot of mistakes. Your trading rules, you want to really understand, um, you know, what what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and this is going to be unique to you as an individual. For me, for example, I don't trade in bed because I traded way too much money trading in bed and I just had to stop. So that's my number one rule. Do not trade in bed because one, I only have one time frame up and I don't have the big picture. I need to see the big picture to make informed decisions. So that's one thing there. Risk management, right? This is my guideline for my personal accounts. Obviously, for props, since you can leverage higher, this might be a little different, but this is for my risk guideline for when I'm trading. And then, of course, your playbook. What are your best setups, right? Here's my playbook, and then I label them on the probability, right? So if the win rate is between 70 to like 80, 85%, I would consider it a B setup. If the win rate is 80 to 95, it's considered an A setup. So like the 15-minute orb, the TTO, the W model, those are considered A setups for me. And then I have an entire other folder with screenshots of what the setups look like. Of what the setups look like in like my playbook, right? So I have winning trades and I have like them broken down in here. So then I can go into this. I have the screenshots of what they look like. I have a video explaining it. That way I know what to look for when I am going to the trading session. And then just some notes for me, to remind myself this is how much the stop loss for this setup, the stop loss for that setup, and so on and so forth. So if you guys don't have a trading system yet, you can definitely, when you watch the recording, take a screenshot or just like pause it or take a screenshot, print it out, whatever to use as reference so you can create your own. Remember, because we don't work like at a firm, we don't have like a proper risk manager and all these other things to help us make one of these. We need to hold ourselves accountable and make this ourselves, right? You need to be your own risk manager, your accountability partner, your boss, all these things when it comes to trading. And the more detail you can get for your plan, the better. Are we clear on that trading system?
Yes.
Cool. And again, in my YouTube, you can go to the trading psychology and system building, and I have some of these classes that you can look into here to go over. So I'll just keep this up. I'm going to talk about some other things. So I was watching this video earlier on YouTube, and the guy or the gentleman said it's a phrase similar to what one of my mentors told me, but the phrase is measurement is intervention. Now, what does that mean? Let's tie it into trading, right? Or I'll give you the analogy that he gave because he's like into the gym industry, like helping gyms succeed and blah 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 blah. So for him, it's like measurement is intervention, right? If you make a fat person or an overweight person look at their weight every single day, they're gonna lose weight, right? Because they're measuring where they're at. Let's apply it to trading. If you journal every single day with proper details and proper information, you're going to know exactly what you're doing right. You're going to know exactly what you're doing wrong. You're going to know exactly where you need to improve on. So the intervention part comes into play where, it's you measuring these details is going to intervene and make you a better trader. So now you know what you need to focus on. And there's really no excuse once you have it written down, right? So if you don't journal, get to it because the biggest thing is just collecting data, right? Like it took me 4 years to make this, and here it is for you guys, right? I collected 4 years of journaling data and put it into a 1 hour and 20-minute video, the best that I could anyway. So, you know, for me, journaling has been one of the greatest things for me because it really helped me refine my process and my system. And the more refined it is, the easier it's going to be for you to succeed in this business. Because every time people come to me for help, or I'll look like at posts online, and people are like trading sucks, it's a scam, or this and this and that. I always ask them these three questions: Do you journal? Do you have rules? Do you have clearly defined setups? And every single time, it's crickets. Never respond back because they know they don't have that. That's like if I opened up a business with no plan and I'm like, making businesses is a scam because it didn't work. It's like you didn't even do it properly or efficiently. Like, what do you expect? Right? So, going into the new year, hold yourselves accountable to reach the standard that you want, right? Whatever goal you want in trading, you know, yeah, he who fails to plan plans to fail. Exactly, Ronnie. Thank you for that. That was a beautiful one. So, what I would have you guys do, if you really want to succeed and make this, a lucrative money printer for you, which trading basically is once you have it down, you know, get clear on what you want, get clear on what your goals are, and, make a comparison of where you are now and where and what it looks like on where to where you want to be. The clearer we are, the better, right? So right now, I'm not journaling. In the future, I'm journaling every single day. I'm taking all these notes on my trades. Cool. All right. Now that I know where I'm at and where I want to be, what can I do now to get there? Now we start to get the actionable steps that are going to get us there. Cool. All right. Let me start taking notes and let me start journaling efficiently and properly. Let me go look at Advent's video on YouTube to see how to journal efficiently and properly, right? So there's a lot of tools out there for you guys to succeed. That's why every time I hear people like, to be fair, there's people who've traded without proper guidance and it takes longer, right? It took me 4 years to kind of compile all this data in a way that I can easily explain it. Like there's been traders that come to me that have been trading for more than 5 years and they don't have none of this, which blows my mind. I'm like, how do you not have like rules? How do you not know what to journal? You've been trading for so long. But again, you don't know what you don't know, right? So I'll give them slack because I didn't know a lot of this when I first started either until I started diving really, really deep into it. So going into the new year, going and finishing up the year, just hold yourselves accountable moving forward And if you struggle with following your rules or certain things when you're trading, one thing that I always tell myself is like when I go into the trading session, my only job today is, and people have heard me say this a lot of times, my only job today is to follow my rules and follow my setups and my disciplines, and that's it. If I lose, if I make money, that is not up to me. And whether you lose or you win, for the most part, when I know I'm like fully locked in, losses don't bother me. Like I'm unfazed by a loss. I'm like, all right, cool, I lost. It is what it is. I took my setup. Moving on to the next one. Sometimes I'll get annoyed and upset. It is what it is, and I'll just get up and walk away until I'm relaxed, and I'll come back. Because if I stay and I'm like, if I stay in that mindset, that's dangerous. You got to know yourself. So, all in all, hold yourselves accountable to where you want to be and the levels that you want to achieve in life, and you'll do fantastic, right? And have people that can hold you accountable, whether it be mentors, coaches, whatever it may be. Another thing is to stop making excuses. I had you're gonna pay in time or you're gonna pay in money. I had an individual that's probably gonna read or watch this come to me yesterday and they said, "Hey, I really want to learn how to trade. I have enough money to trade full time." And then I go through the usual, why do you want to trade? What do you want to achieve? Why is this important to you? And he gave me the rundown. And he's like, all right, can you be my mentor? I'm like, yeah, definitely. Here's my website. Once you get it, let me know. I'll send you the information and we'll start from there. We'll create your roadmap, X, Y, and Z. And um, he's like, you're charging? I'm like, yes, you're paying me for my time. And he's like, well, if you're profitable, then why would you be charging somebody? And I'm like, well, that is a silly This I see a lot with Reddit people. So people who are here from Reddit, I like bless your souls. If you are here, shout out to you because you actually want to learn. But a lot of them in Reddit, I don't understand them. They're like, if you need to pay for blah blah blah, I'm like, bro, this is how the world works. You pay for a service. And anyway, I'm like, so if I wasn't profitable, then I can charge you. The logic doesn't make sense. Anywho, that's like me going to a doctor who's also a lawyer and be like, "Hey, because you make money as a lawyer, you shouldn't charge me for the doctor visit." Like the logic is not making sense. So yeah, I those people don't phase me anymore. Like one thing that I've learned over the years as being a coach that I've been taught is like, um, I'm not for everybody and everybody's not for me. So I used to think like I have to close every single client that comes to me, but it's like I actually don't. I rather have clients that are like fully invested and fully jumping in because they see the best results, right? There's a few people that are new that I'm working with, but one of them, I don't have any favorites. I'm not saying I have any favorites. I'm just going to mention one individual. So if you are in here, there's no favorites. This one individual, he's been like studying every single day. Within 3 weeks, he didn't really know anything about trading at all. He's taking his own trades by himself, making money, doing fantastic. So, no excuses to everybody here, everybody watching the recording, even to myself, right? No excuses. We have to hold ourselves to a higher standard always. And one of my life coaches always, he always told me that, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, because you'll be doing a disservice to your future self. If you have a family, kids, whatever, and you want trading to, give them a better life, every time you break your rules and you don't follow your plan, you're doing them a disservice because now you're further away from your goals and what you want to provide them and so on and so forth. So always remember, do better. Don't make excuses. Just put in the work and you'll see the results. So, anything else I want to go over? This making sense? Resonating with everybody here? We on the same page? No, no excuses 2025? get stuff done.
We need you to drop that link to your Discord. I'm in the Discord, and like I really caught on to that broadening formation or whatnot, and then I just, even though you post your watch list in his Discord and stuff like that, it's nothing wrong with being in yours.
Definitely, I appreciate that. I'll get the link for you guys right now. Where did I put this? There we go. I just put in the chat. You can use the code December 24. That should give you 30% off for the holidays. I think that's the code. Let me see. December 24. Yeah, I'll give you 30% off. You only ever pay one time. If you join after this month, you'll be paying monthly. So if whoever gets in before January, you'll pay one time and you'll never pay again. Cool. Thank you for that. All right. So I want everybody, mainly myself, because I want to go relax before I go to bed. The cost is $24.50, Rodney, with the discount. If you don't have $24.50, trading is probably not for you, which is okay. And it might not be important for you. That's why I always ask people, right? Like, I always ask this question to people who come to me to like teach them how to trade. Because when they're like, bro, I gotta pay. Yes, you do.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but your offers, is there a difference between the essentials to trading on the Cerulean trading group? I'm
So
sorry.
Essentials to Trading has my Discord included, and it also gives you the futures and options course alongside a lot more material that I don't have on my YouTube. And also there's like other private classes that I'll hold with my students that I wouldn't hold publicly and stuff like that, and in the group. So if you find that to give you more value, you're more than welcome to go that route. I think the code will also apply to that. If I think I put it for everything that I have, if I recall correctly.
How do you say your the group name?
Cerulean Trading Group,
Okay.
December 24. Yeah, this will also give you a 30% off everything that I have here. If you want to get the course, don't get the group because the course has the group in it included. And you get a free one-on-one session with me. So there's that. All right. So what else? Yeah, so remember, that's why I always ask people, is this important for you? Based on what you've told me on why you want to trade, is this important for you? You told me that you have the money to trade full time, but you don't have the money to spend for coaching. I'm confused. I paid my mentor $5,000 to work with him for 3 months. It's been the best thing that I've ever done in my whole life. I will pay that again if I could. And I'm lucky that I got him when I did because he started working for Tony Robbins and he charges like 15,000 now and people pay that gladly. So money is just it's just a thing, right? Is was $5,000 going to affect me in the next 10 years? Probably not. And if I didn't, I'll probably have blown my account and I wouldn't be here with you guys right now. So I'm eternally grateful for him. Jacob, if you're watching this, love you. You freaking helped me a ton. So, all right, let's wrap up. So we can all enjoy the rest of our Sundays.
It doesn't let me enter the code on the WAP app.
You might need to go. Are you using like the Apple Pay or the Samsung Pay, or do you hit join?
Well, I, I'm on an iPad, but I hit get access.
When you click on it, you're gonna click on once and then hit continue. You might need to use an internet browser for this, not the app itself.
Okay.
Then it's going to say promo code and just type in December 24, hit apply, and then it'll show you the discounted price.
Okay, I got you. All right. I'm finna screenshot that link.
Cool. So let's wrap up. What was everybody's biggest takeaway? What was the biggest thing that you guys learned today that you'll leave with from this session? Also, somebody pressed me the other day on why I always drink from my bottle is because I used to have, well, I didn't used to, I have siblings. And when I used to have a glass of water, I used to tip it over and they got on my keyboard once. I'm like, nope, I'm not spending $150 again for this. I'm always using a bottle. Anyway, psychology and broadening formations, definitely Shakui. Super, super important. My first mentor never taught me about the psychology part of trading, and I really wish he did because I had to go through many trials and tribulations to, really get it down packed. Rande Howell, let me bring up his YouTube channel. Uh, where is this link? Rande Howell was one of my trading psychology mentors. His YouTube channel is freaking gold. Like, definitely check it out. I've worked with him personally. That dude, like, he really helped me a ton. So you can check out a bunch of his videos. Really good stuff on his YouTube channel. Check it out. Having a system is important. 100% Rodney. We want to be, I'm very mechanical when it comes to trading. That's why I love the strat. If this does this, you do that. If this doesn't do this, you don't do anything. Simple and easy. Definitely rules, Sarah. 100% rules are going to be unique to the individual. Like for me, I don't trade news, right? Some people like to trade earnings and news. I don't do that. Like that does not work for me. It's not sustainable. I don't do that personally. It might work for you. And please, if it does work for you, please keep on doing it. Like don't let me dissuade you. If it works, it works. I learned that you use bigger time frames to draw broader information. Been drawing them since we've been on here. Woods, send me your BFs when you're done so I can take a look at them with you. Practice only taking better 100. So Kev, 100%, Kev, 100%. If you go to like, and I told this before, Kev, like in the course and also in the group with my setup that I have over here, if the setup does not look 80 to 90% like this, I am not taking it because it's not the best version. And again, the market is not random, it's programmed. You just have to wait for the program to present itself and then you attack. Hold yourself accountable. Is it in the hungries? If you're in the hungries, if you go to the futures trade setups, I have some of my setups listed here. So I have the W. This thing is a freaking money maker. And for those who trade options, you can take this on options too. The W trade model. What else do I have in here? Somebody asked me about the kid and play. There's a TTO model right here. I have a student who only trades TTOs and they do fantastic. I just like variety. So I have other setups. The kid in play is over here. Pretty much it's going to be a failed two up. This is the short version. It's going to be a failed two up candle with the candle before it and the candle itself. The bodies are going to be flat like this. Preferably, this is going to have a small or lower wick and then a long wick. We're going to take that short to the downside. My stop loss is the body. I'm getting in as soon as it breaks that low, using the previous lows of the wicks or bodies as my targets. And I have notes on what time frames to look at it and stuff like that. All right. What else? In your opinion, how often every week do the great setups present themselves? Every single week. Now, not all of them will set up every single week. Like this, let me bring up my other screen here. So this week, the setups that I took was, give me a sec. I took the broadening formation reversal on the 5 minute. I took the W trade model. Yeah, that's pretty much all I did today. 2 days of the W trade model and 2 days of broadening formation reversals, and that's it. The week prior, I took the 15-minute opening range break that I only share with my students. That thing I took all of last week, like one and done. If that trade hits, I'm done for the day in within an hour. Um, so every week my setups will print, just not all of them, right? That's why I like to have variety because if I only traded, let's say the kid and play setup, I wouldn't have taken any trades this week because I didn't see it play or set up the way I would have preferred. But if I only traded the W trade model, I only would have traded 2 days this week. So I like to have variety in between days. That's just how I am. Some people love to just trade one model, which is okay, right? You don't need to trade every day. I was loving the W setup while watching one of your videos yesterday. Hey, thanks, Kev B. Yeah, the W trade model, for those who trade ICT, you'll know that as an order block. At least that's what somebody who trades ICT told me. They're like, oh, that's just an order block. I'm like, all right, cool. Good to know. But yeah, but I get in a little differently, whereas let me see if I could bring it up here. Let's bring this up. So ICT people, I think they're catching the pullback on the bounce of the order block to get into the trade. I'm getting in once the W starts down here. So I'm getting in there. First target is a center. Second target is when, it breaks that or completes the W. And then, of course, if I want to be a little more greedy, which I don't want to be, because if this hits, like I'm super done if this hits the second target, depending how wide the range is. And generally, if it's going to be a valid W, it's going to make a new high of day from near low of day, as we can see here. It took forever to make a new high of day, but if it's a legit one, it's going to make a high of day from near the low of day. So I love this setup. It's one of my biggest money makers. Cool. All right. Thank you guys for coming out and asking me your questions. Again, we have these every second Sunday of the month. The same link you use to sign up, you can sign up for January. Let me just double check that I actually have it set up. All right. Don't go to January yet. I have to add it in manually so you guys can sign up. So every second Sunday of the month, you're just going to click on it, sign up, and you'll get the link the same way you did for this one. And I'm pretty much going to have these forever until maybe my time decreases, but I should be good for a while to keep on doing these. And I want to give people who may not be able to afford me the opportunity to talk to me like we did today. So thank you guys again. Any last well, actually, let me not open up that can of worms.
What was the promo code again?
December 24.
Okay. Thank you. And thanks
Of
for your time.
course, if it doesn't work, just send me a message on Discord
Okay.
or you actually like do it if you don't see the discount there. Cool. So thank you guys again for coming out. Enjoy your Sunday. For those who are in my group or 100Ks group, I live trade every Tuesdays and Fridays. I dropped the link in the futures chat in 100Ks group though, since I don't really trade options that actively, since I don't want to be back and forth between charts. So every Tuesday and Friday, 9:15 a.m. to 12 noon, live trading. Some days I'll like live trade and throw the Zoom link in there, like extra, but I like to focus when I'm trading. And sometimes when I'm live trading, I get distracted by questions, which is okay. You guys can ask me questions when we're live trading, but I just like to like kind of trade by myself, and then I'll come and talk to everybody when I'm done. Anyway, thank you guys. Enjoy your night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And for the recording, it's gonna process, so it'll probably I'm gonna have it scheduled for like 2 in the morning, like midnight for those on the West Coast. If it takes longer to process, I'll just have it tomorrow to release at like 5 p.m. Eastern time, or actually, no, 12 noon, and we'll go from there. Anyway, thank you guys again. Remember, hold yourselves accountable. No excuses, 2025. If you want the future that you say you want, then act like it. All right. I will see you guys. Have a good night.